Greetings, this is Silent James, and welcome to me drawing and painting page 9 in my zine Silent Delic. This page takes place in a chapter, or track as I call them, about my fear of moths, and this is a real a real fear from when I was younger. We lived on a dead end in front of a nature preserve, so it was all woods and it was beautiful, and that's a very idyllic place to grow up when you're a kid. The only thing is that it meant that after nightfall, lots of different insects and humongous prehistoric looking bugs would crowd around the porch light, and I just have all these memories, these horrific memories of, coming into my house after dark, and it was like a race with the devil to get in before all the, you turn the key in the door and push the door open, and all the moths would just like descend onto my shoulders and my back and the back of my neck and my head, and I would just be like swatting them off of me, and then they would basically just fly up to the ceiling because they would all come in, and then there'd be these huge wingspans on these creatures, like they'd be like whoosh whoosh when they would take off. They were humongous. So yeah, I had this fear, and I would spend lots of time just staring at the porch light or the light that they were flying around, and I thought I would go blind because I was so obsessively staring at it. That's why I mention in this book that I might go blind. My fear of moths, I might go blind watching them because I'm watching the porch light or the light fixture, and they're hanging around the light. So yeah, I basically faced my fears with this book head on. It was very strange drawing something you're afraid of, like because when you draw something or paint in watercolor, and especially the way I draw, it's like you're really focusing and really spending a lot of time staring at something. So it was very strange. But yeah, one of the things I wanted to mention was that I always appreciate when media, when they build these worlds and they have attention to detail, like including insects. Like Miyazaki does this a lot, having, the moths around the lights and things. And then there's a stop motion film called The Secret Adventures of Tom Thumb, and that is all about the bugs flying around the lights. So yeah, that was the whole basis for this story. There's, this is a zine, so there's interviews with different bands that I love, musicians and artists, but also there's a few personal stories about me, and this is one of them. So the things I love about this book are that the page layout is not traditional comic format. I've mentioned this before, but I'll just say it really quickly. You don't necessarily have to read it from top left to bottom right. You can start in the center. You can start in different points. I just love playing with different ways to show panels, having all the panels have curved edges. It was very important to me to have not a lot of right angles, especially with my panels, because organic forms are more natural to the human eye, and there's just so much more peace you can feel looking at something that just has something as subtle as a rounded edge. So that's what I always tried to do with this book. And I love how the moth is sort of prancing around, doing this happy hoppy dance in the bottom right panel. I think that's cool. I really love this page because it puts a lot of humor into fear, which I think is a therapeutic way to deal with different fears. And I love my comical expression, and that juxtaposed to the frightening close-up of the moth face in the top right. So yeah, this takes place in the freezing basement that I lived in for a year. That was completely not for any human being to ever live in. It had this horrible blue painted wall, and they painted the top of the stairs that color, but then it dripped over the side. They just let these like drips go down the side of the stairs and never bothered to clean it up. So in a little bit you'll see I'll add this this big drip going down the side, and that was really there in my apartment. But yeah, there you go. There's the drip. But yeah, I love this page. I think it's really funny, and I'm not going to give away the secret, but it explains, where does this lead when I'm fear of moths. The book Silent Delic is available on Amazon now. Thank you for listening, and ta ta.